Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5 on Channels Television. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and these are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. We start off with politics, as the governor of Oyo State, Makinde, has officially declared his intention to run for the office of the president come 2027. He made the official declaration at the Unity Rally jointly organized by the People's Democratic Party and All People's Movement, APM, to formalize the alliance between the two parties. Mr. Makinde called on opposition leaders to unite against a deliberate effort by the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. He maintained that the country no longer operates democracy without a political landscape that guarantees a level playing ground for opposition parties without the interference of the ruling party. He also asked citizens to move beyond political spectators and bystanders, assuring them that with the collective participation of all Nigerians of voting age, the country will record a historical set in 2027. Staying with politics, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party has distanced itself from the alliance involving the Allied People's Movement in Ibadan, the Oyo State's capital, describing the event as a misrepresentation of the party's interests. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Mr. Jungudu Mohammed, told journalists that the PDP is unaware of any merger or coalition talks with the APM or any other political party ahead of the 2027 general election. According to him, the PDP will contest the 2027 general elections as a party and wants any group or individual using its name for merger or coalition talks to desist, as such impersonation has already been reported to the security agencies to act upon. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak has said that if it was left to him, he knew where the next governor of the state would emerge from, but he had to succumb to consensus in the interest of the party. He also urged APC aspirants to remain united ahead of the party primaries. The governor stated this at the APC Secretariat in Ilorin while addressing House of Assembly aspirants, describing all contestants as winners despite the limited number of available positions. He said the growing number of aspirants under the APC reflects the strength and popularity of the party, attributing it to what he called the transformative leadership of President Bola Tinubu. Governor Abdurrazak highlighted achievements of his administration in road construction, education, healthcare and infrastructure, saying the government has surpassed the records of previous administrations across the state. He assured the aspirants that their commitments to the party would not go unnoticed, noting that many of them have positioned themselves for future leadership roles and possible appointments.
In 7 years, we've built more roads than they built in. We've built more roads than they built in 16 years. We have transformed the state. Look at education. Our students keep winning honors, laurels all over the world. So that shows our investment in education. Those that used to go to our chairman's village before, yes. They know that we've transformed the road to his village. So it's all over the state. Development is all over. Those are from Pategi. We'll see that work going on Ndalulu Road, 3 other major roads in Pategi. The Pategi Motel is ongoing. The Great Cultural Center in Pategi is ongoing. That is how it is across the state. We'll continue to develop, work together. Now, in various ways, we might not have our way, but we just have to work together, because I know if it was left to me, I know where we'll take governorship to. But it's about consensus, and I have to agree with everybody to say this is where we need to go. Now, each and every one of you here is qualified and can contribute and will contribute in your own way to developing this state. And some of you are already contributing. In fact, all of you are already contributing, but some of you are already in the House of Assembly doing your best, and some of you are aspiring to go into the House of Assembly. Well, I wish you all luck, wish you all the best. No one is better than the other. It's just that we just need to pray and God to guide us to achieve our goals.
Former Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, has formally joined the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo West Local Government. Mr. Mimiko was received into the party by the state APC chairman, Mr. Babatunde Kolawole, and the Speaker of the Ondo State Assembly, Right Honorable Lamide Oladiji, amid a rousing welcome. Dr. Mimiko, a former governor of 2 terms, had in April formally resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party. Speaking at the APC Secretariat in Ondo State, he said he is joining the APC to contribute to national development and ensure President Tinubu's victory in 2027.
I will contribute my quota to the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What he has done so far, there is nothing perfect in governance. Of course, there are areas you can tweak here and there. But in terms of the fundamental trajectory, I think there lies the progress for our nation. And I remain committed to it. I will cooperate. I will align whatever God has given me with all stakeholders to ensure that we put forward this program for the development of our people. In our lifetime, our people, Nigeria, will progress. And I say this, and make no mistake about it, with the Nigeria First Industrial Policy, our country will industrialize.
Operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, have arrested 12 suspects for the vandalism of rail tracks and critical national infrastructure in Kaduna State. The arrests follow the destruction of the Kaduna-Kano-Lagos rail line and other essential national assets in the northern region. The suspects were apprehended during a raid on a steel company allegedly used for fabricating and storing vandalized rail components and other stolen materials at Birnin Yero in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State.
Like any normal day, this steel company located in Birnin Yero in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State appears to be operating a legitimate business. However, behind the scene, the company is alleged to be involved in illegal activities and unlawful fabrication and storage of vandalized railway tracks, sleepers, water pipes, stolen vehicles, and other critical national assets suspected to have been illegally obtained. Following a viral video showing extensive destruction of railway tracks, operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps swung into action through weeks of intelligence gathering that led to the dismantling of the syndicate using the steel company as a cover.
On Tuesday, 12th of May 2026, following weeks of intensive surveillance and intelligence gathering by the CG Special Intelligence Squad, our teams successfully smashed an international and local syndicate operating under a sophisticated criminal smokescreen.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps says the company is allegedly operating as a front for the purchase, compression, and transportation of vandalized railway tracks, sleepers, NNPC pipes, and waterboard installations in collaboration with another steel company in Abia State, where the scrap metals are transported to.
The following items worth billions of naira were recovered at the scene and are presented here. 1. Massive quantities of vandalized railway tracks and sleepers. 2. Large volumes of suspected NNPC and waterboard pipes. 3. Specialized machinery used for compressing and concealing stolen infrastructure.
Meanwhile, the management of the Nigeria Railway Corporation has expressed deep appreciation to the NSCDC for the successful operation, describing vandalization of critical national assets as a grave economic sabotage.
Not less than 400 meters from here, we have the rail line linking Kano to Lagos. And in the last 2-3 years, the various portions of these corridors have been vandalized for at least maybe 6-7 times. Documented. We have had issues where some have come maybe outside of security men, they ran away. At night, they come at night to do it. So I think that we are happy with this development.
With the dismantling of the syndicate in Kaduna State, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has reiterated its commitment to safeguarding critical national assets and warns individuals involved in vandalism and illegal scrap metal business to desist or face the full weight of the law.
The Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) Port Harcourt's 2 Area Command Onair has announced that it generated over 77.3 billion naira in revenue in April 2026, marking the highest monthly revenue collection since the establishment of their command. The area controller of the command, Aliyu Alkai, disclosed this during a press briefing held at the command headquarters in Onair, River State. According to him, the command generated a total of 258,204,841,355 naira 66 kobo between January and April 2026, describing it as unprecedented achievement in the history of the command. The customs boss also highlighted the command's anti-smuggling operations within the past 4 months, noting that several containers carrying prohibited and falsely declared goods were intercepted. He explained that in February 2026, officers of the command intercepted a 40-foot container falsely declared as containing plumbing materials with a duty-paid value of 185.2 million naira.
It is worthy of note that the command has, from January to April 2026, recorded 258,204,841,000 naira, which is also a milestone achievement. It is an unprecedented collection in the history of this command. This remarkable achievement reflects our unwavering commitment to revenue generation, trade facilitation, and the enforcement of excellent government fiscal policies. Today, I am pleased to also showcase the command's significant anti-smuggling strides recorded over the past few months. In February 2026, vigilant officers intercepted an attempted smuggling of a 1x40-foot container declared to contain plumbing materials with a duty-paid value of 185,220,000 naira. Upon examination, the container was discovered that the perpetrators had concealed the original container number and replaced it with a fake one in an attempt to evade unlawfully the payment of duty.
The Imo State Police Command says it's intensifying security operations in Ihiagwa, Iziobodo, and neighboring communities in Owerri West Local Government area following a failed abduction attempt that left 1 person injured. In a statement issued by the police public relations officer DSP Henry Okoye, the incident occurred on Wednesday night along the Umuoku Ihiagwa Iziobodo Road, where suspected gunmen reportedly attempted to abduct a resident before they were repelled by security operatives and members of the community. The attack was foiled through the swift intervention of police operatives, local vigilante groups, and residents who mobilized in large numbers to resist the assailants. The statement adds the victim sustained a gunshot injury during the incident and was immediately rushed to a hospital for medical treatment. Following the attack, the Commissioner of Police, Audu Boso, ordered the deployment of the newly established Violent Crime Response Unit alongside other tactical and intelligence teams to strengthen security in the area. The bail application filed by detained Justice Chidi Ebere, also known as Justice Crack, on Thursday suffered a setback at the Federal High Court in Abuja after his lawyers clashed over representation. The court had earlier adjourned until May 25th for the hearing, but abridged the time to today, May 14. When the case was called, Leyi Abua from the Federal Ministry of Justice informed the court that the Attorney General of the Federation had taken over the matter from the DSS in line with the relevant section of the law. When the defendants' counsel announced the appearance, 2 lawyers, Olufemi Balogun and Marshal Abubakar, both stood up and tried to announce appearance for the defendants. Following this courtroom drama between the lawyers, defense counsel Marshal Abubakar withdrew from the matter and retracted all previously filed applications. Mr. Balogun told the court he will be filing a fresh bail application, while Justice Joyce Abdulmalik subsequently adjourned the case to May 18 for hearing. She also ordered the prosecution to open its case on the same day or have it struck out for want of diligent prosecution. You're watching the news at 5 on Channels Television. Right after this break, we'll bring you more stories making the headlines at the moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Abayomi, says Lagos has only 7,000 medical doctors, and the state's government is working towards reducing the brain drain and facilitate brain gain by improving working conditions. Speaking at the 2026 ministerial press briefing in Alausa, Ikeja, Professor Abayomi said the state is intensifying efforts to expand health insurance coverage, improve healthcare infrastructure, and reposition Lagos as a leading medical tourism destination in Africa.
On a daily basis, patients walk in and out of the hospital, some to deliver their babies or get emergency care. But not all have good stories to tell after their experience, owing to the shortage of manpower in the medical space. According to the statistics shared by the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Abayomi, at the 2026 ministerial press briefing, Nigeria has 40,000 doctors at a ratio of 1 doctor to 5,000 population, with an urgent need of 300,000 doctors, while Lagos requires an additional 40,000. In delivering better healthcare services, the Lagos state government is developing an ecosystem that can address biosecurity threats, enforce mandatory health insurance, and neutralize outbound medical tourism.
According to the WHO, we should have 1 doctor for 600 population. There's a shortfall of 30,000 doctors in Lagos and a larger number of shortfall for nurses. So this is a huge number. And let me just say, for the record, that human resources for health shortage is a global phenomenon. So for every health professional we have in Lagos, they're doing the job of 10. So we need to be patient with our healthcare professionals. They're working under very hard conditions. For us in health, we're able to deliver universal health care through a strategy called mandatory health insurance. And we don't want any Lagosians to leave Lagos to obtain any form of health care abroad.
Lagos, with a growing population of 30 million, can only boast of 34 public, secondary and tertiary health facilities, 325 primary healthcare centers, with 3,500 registered private health facilities, while the patient and proprietary medicine vendors has 10,000 registered as part of efforts to improve primary healthcare services. In 2025, the federal government, through the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, approved 32 billion naira for PHCs, primary healthcare centers, across the country, including Lagos.
Now, these funds have stringent criteria for you to access the funds, and they are not completely for consumables. You are expected to spend these funds on improving services at the primary health care levels.
We need to improve the working conditions of our healthcare professionals. We need to improve the living conditions of our professionals and facilitate the return of those that have already drained out of the country.
The state government is currently working towards establishing a University of Medicine to expand training of medical professionals.
His Excellency has given us the approval to establish the standalone University of Medicine and Health Sciences. We're going to decentralize the training of our healthcare professionals from the green circle through the yellow to the red to the blue, which means that we will have access to a very large number of patients. So
the Lagos state government believes that the ongoing infrastructure modernization in the health sector will help address shortage of medical professionals and encourage residents to report any form of irregularity that threatens the safety of patients to the Health Facility Monitoring and Accreditation Agency to ensure healthcare standards across the state.
And on business news, Nigeria's Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, is asking governments on the continent to de-risk capital to attract investments for infrastructural development. Mr. Oyedele, who was a panelist in the session titled Skin in the Game unlocking African projects for long-term institutional capital on day one of the 2026 Africa CEO Forum.
One is pension money not going into infrastructure, even when they have the headroom. But then these same pension managers will give their funds to government as bonds when government says, I want to invest it in infrastructure. So the missing link is that government needs to de-risk how these investors will invest into infrastructure, almost like there's a guarantee. There was an example in Nigeria where the private sector was to build the road, operate and transfer. And then there was a protest. People say, we're not going to pay the toll, right? That's a risk. If you buy government bonds, that risk does not exist. So we must find a way to ensure that the risk and the return is attractive. Investors, in my private sector experience, are not just looking for high returns. They're looking for competitive, risk-adjusted returns. When we bring down the risk of uncertainty, over-regulation, lack of respect for rule of law, not respecting contract, dispute resolution, if you take those risks away, investors will come even for lower returns.
The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has warned Nigerians against investing in unregistered online investment schemes promoted across social media platforms, cautioning that many of them operate like Ponzi schemes. The warning was contained in a public notice dated May 8, 2026 and shared on the Commission's official X handle. According to the SEC, several of the platforms promising guaranteed or unrealistic returns are neither registered nor authorized to operate within Nigeria's capital market. The Commission said these schemes are aggressively promoted on platforms such as WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Telegram, Facebook, and other digital platforms. SEC advised investors to avoid participating in unregistered online investment schemes. The Commission also warned Nigerians against relying on investment advice from unlicensed individuals or entities. A new subsea cable project known as Via Africa has been launched to strengthen digital connectivity between Europe and Africa along the Atlantic coast. The project will connect the UK, France, and Portugal to several African countries, including Nigeria, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and South Africa. The project is expected to support growing demand for cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and other digital services, while also improving network reliability. The initiative forms part of broader efforts to expand Africa's digital infrastructure and strengthen international connectivity routes. Recently staged a protest over unpaid cocoa deliveries. Global cocoa prices rebound sharply in May, climbing 24% month to date and rising above $4,400 per ton as renewed supply concerns trigger fresh momentum in the commodities market. The recovery follows months of steep losses that pushed cocoa prices down from over $9,000 per ton in 2025 to below $3,000 earlier this year amid global oversupply pressures. Fresh concerns over weaker output in Ivory Coast, driven by below average rainfall, and farmer protests over unpaid cocoa deliveries are now fueling expectations of tighter supply in the next harvest season. According to a Reuters interview with farmers in Daluo, West Central Ivory Coast, a cooperative representing more than 300 farmers. The United Kingdom economy expands by 0.6% quarter-on-quarter in the first quarter of 2026, supported by stronger consumer spending, services activity, and business investment. Official data shows the growth rate marks an improvement from the previous quarter, reflecting resilience in key sectors despite ongoing inflationary pressures and global economic uncertainty. The services sector remains the biggest contributor to growth, while manufacturing and construction activities also record moderate gains during the period. Economists say easing energy costs and improving business confidence help support economic activity, although concerns remain over interest rates and household spending pressures. And that's it on the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. For updates, kindly visit our website. That's www.channelstv.com. Up next is The World Today.